question then is begged, Father, let's grant that you're right. Now where are we? What do we do now? Don't we have a conclave? Don't we elect a new pope?
Well, we don't. We wouldn't have the authority to do that.
But you have the authority to judge who's the pope.
Well, how that works, though, is actually we don't. You have to understand what you mean about judge. You make an individual judgment of whether or not something is Catholic or not in the case of the new Mass. That's not the same as a legal judgment. Legal judgment where you're sitting in the position of a judge, let us say in the ecclesiastical court. You don't have, all of that stuff is based on human law. And when it comes to the question of the Pope, you know, it's clear from the teaching of Innocent III that he says the heretical Pope is already judged. So there's no need for anything like that, some sort of a judicial procedure. Where you do run into a problem in terms of church law and conclaves and exotic stuff like that is that it is very clear in church law that you cannot fill an office unless it is clear that you have the right to fill that office, and unless there's a declaration from someone in authority that the office is vacant. We can't do that. Right? We can't start the legal mechanism up to start a conclave.
Who would have that authority?
Well, the thing is that, I mean, at that point, I have to say that I don't know. The theologians have taken, in the 14 and 1500s, took the question of what would happen if there's an extinction of the College of Cardinals. Well, they say that the clergy of the city of Rome would have the authority to elect a head because he would be the head of the Roman Church. So they have thought about this. They've talked about this. Well, then the next question is, what if you didn't have the... you know, they all died in a plague or something. Well, then the theologians say the church would then have the power to designate someone as her pastor. And then that's where they stop. Unfortunately.
You know, which dog or cat in Rome.
Yeah, so so I have to say that, I mean, from the point of view of procedure, I don't know. But the inability to figure out what the legal mechanism would be for attempting a pope.
So for you, it's a legal issue. It's not an issue. If you did discover, you say you don't know now, but if you did discover a legal mechanism that made sense in
yeah, there might be something like that. I think someone would have come up with it at this point. But you say that the fact that you can't figure out some sort of a legal mechanism or you can't predict the future it doesn't mean that by default you can go back to a situation where the authority of the church exercised through the Roman pontiff can give you an evil right or contradictory teachings. So it's two separate issues. The inability to resolve the legal issue doesn't do anything. I mean, you have some saints who say that one day Pope will be designated from heaven by Saints Peter and Paul. That's, you know, one possibility people talked about. So in addition to the General Council. So who knows? But that doesn't resolve the problem of authority, the authority of the church giving you something evil. You get no contradiction. You end up in sedevacantism. You may end up in mystery as to what's going to happen in the future, but you don't end up in contradiction, where you get a defecting authority.